Hi there, I'm Richard Groner, and I am your instructor for Comm 101 Public Speaking. This is, of course, an online course, so everything will be done in Canvas Ivy Learn through the shell, but it's not just a course where you interact with the computer only and you don't interact with the instructor. I will be holding a lot of opportunities for you to interact with me, ask questions, additional learning supplement material, that kind of thing. So it will be more than just what I usually think of as a traditional online class. I took my entire master's program online, and I had several classes where it felt like everything was computer related and there was no person on the other end. Even when I would send questions, I wouldn't maybe hear an answer from some instructors ever, and that's not the way this is going to work. You're going to see videos from me similar to this every week. There's going to be, and we'll talk about a lot of this later, there's an online Zoom virtual student hours that I hold. We will do some live sessions. We'll do some things I call quick tips. So there'll be a lot of opportunities to interact if that's something that you want to do. It is a public speaking class, so you will be giving a lot of speeches, and because it's online, you will be doing them on video. Now, if you go to the syllabus, and I encourage you, please go to the syllabus and go through it, you will see that we normally have a minimum audience requirement of 6 people in your audience live, and they have to be 16 years or older. We have, for the last year and a half, waived that requirement due to the COVID pandemic. And this particular semester, we're modifying that slightly. The requirement is that you have 6 people, and they don't necessarily have to be 16 years and older. It can be younger people, but you can't, let's say you've got 6 kids between the ages of like 2 and 7. It can't be all that. You need to have 1 or 2 adult age people in your audience. And you want to get 6 people. In the case that you have a situation where you can't do that, email me and we will work around the situation. I am able to bring in virtual audiences, and you can use FaceTime, Zoom, etc. to bring in audience members for this particular semester. They don't have to be in the room with you, so you could open up a Zoom window and bring others into that, and then you would have to film that, of course, and then submit that as your speech. And so we do have an audience requirement. It is public speaking, after all. You are going to have to learn to speak in public. That's the point. If you don't have an audience, then that's really not public speaking, right? That's video blogging in this particular case. So you will have to have an audience, and like I said, if you have issues, problems getting people, whatever, email me ahead of time and we can work through whatever there might be. If you go through the course and look at modules, there is a module in there called Course Resources. You definitely want to take a look at that. There's a lot of helpful documents in there about the course, about different aspects of the course. The one I really want you to pay attention to is the guidelines for recording and submitting speeches. There are some guidelines that have to be met, and they're all listed there. And there is a process by which you have to submit your speeches, and it has to be done by this process using the Ivy Tech Google Drive, because it's the only way I can grade your speeches. And in this course, you will be grading each other. So your classmates in this class will have to have access to your video. And by following the process that's listed in the guidelines, you will be able to establish so that they can do that. There's also a video in there of me walking through as far as I can. I can't actually use student view because there's only to a certain point I can go because I'm not a student. But I do walk you through the process and talk about the things you need to look at for how to get your speech submitted correctly so that it can be graded. And it's very important to go through that. If you don't do it that way, the first couple of speeches, you're going to get a note from me that says, hey, you didn't follow the guidelines. The first time, I won't take points off for it. After that, if you're not following the guidelines, if you're submitting it incorrectly, I will start taking points off, because that hurts people down the road in the semester being able to grade your speeches, and it makes it more difficult. And 90% of the time, 90% of the students always can follow the process through anyway. So it's not like it's a difficult process. If you have issues, again, email me, let me know, and I can set up a Zoom meeting with you and we can walk you through the process or whatever. But do pay attention to that. It's very important. I will point out the guidelines do call for 6 people audience, 16 years of age. Again, I'll probably go in and cut that out of there for this semester, but if you see a requirement that's contrary to what I'm saying in this video, the video stuff that I'm telling you is the actual rules. Also, when you're making your speech videos, it has to be one continuous video. You show your audience, you show your speech, you show your audience again in one continuous pan. You cannot have a splice in there. You can't get 4 minutes into a speech and you mess up and you think, oh, well, I'll just start at that point and squeeze those 2 pieces together. That's an automatic fail for the assignment. So it has to be one continuous shot from shooting the audience at the beginning of the speech to shooting the audience at the end. It's talked about in the guidelines. For some reason, every semester I always have a student or 2 who puts a splice in there and then it results in an F. Don't do that. Next Tuesday, so I'm recording this on Tuesday the 17th. Next Tuesday the 24th at 10 in the morning, I'm going to hold a live Zoom session. The link is already in the login page. It is optional. You do not have to attend. You will not get dropped from the class if you don't attend. It's there. If you have questions, you can ask me. I'll be live, of course. I will maybe walk through, depending on what people are interested in that meeting. I may walk through how to put in a speech, or I may walk you through Canvas. And I will, if time allows, talk about the first week's course concepts, which are public speaking and anxiety. And everybody has anxiety, even with doing it this way with the videos. People get very anxious about doing the speeches, and we'll talk about dealing with that. Like I said, it is optional. It will be recorded. So if you can't be there and you want to see it, I will record it. I will put the link up later in the day, next Tuesday, and you'll be able to go in and watch it whenever you want. And those links will be on a separate page, which you'll find out later on. And you can always go back and look at them at any time. So it's not required that you be there. I end up usually doing them with no students there. I've had a few where I've had a couple students come in, but it's an opportunity for you to interact with me live. If it goes well, if I see that students are watching it, like say nobody shows up for the live session, but then I go in and look and half the class has watched it, I will probably then continue live sessioning every week. If I notice that students aren't watching it and they're not getting anything out of it, I do them and maybe one person watches it, then I may discontinue it after the first week. It's an experiment to see how much actual live interaction you want with the instructor and how much of it you'll use. So that's next Tuesday, 10 in the morning. Probably won't last more than an hour, depending on how many questions there are, and there's usually not a whole lot of questions. As far as textbook for this course, we use an online educational resource from the publicspeakingproject.org. So that textbook has been inserted into Canvas Ivy Learn, and the chapters of the text that relate to the module or the week that we're talking about this week have been inserted in that module, which is kind of nice. So the whole textbook is there in the course. You can do the whole thing from Ivy Learn Canvas. If you want, there is a link under course resources or in the modules for you to print the book out if you want to print the book out. It's a lot of pages, so I'll tell you ahead of time. But it is inserted into the book, so there's no extra cost for that. And Also, I hold Zoom office hours. So we're back on campus this semester. I will be on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 till I think it's 4. I'm holding Zoom office hours from 1 to 3. So I will be in my office, but I will have the Zoom window open. And if you have questions, you need help with something, anything like that, the link is on the login page. And all you have to do is click on that link and it will pop you into that Zoom room. And I'll be there and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's kind of nice because I can share my screen then, or you can share your screen. If you're having a problem, you can't figure out how to do something in Canvas, I can give you screen share. You can bring your screen up and I can see it and I can walk you through it. So I started this right when we first went into virtual mode at the beginning of the pandemic, and it seems to have been very well received. I actually have more interaction with online and virtual students in office hours than I do face-to-face students in office hours, because I guess you can contact me from wherever you are. You don't have to be on campus. So that will be there every Tuesday and Thursday. It's listed under my name on the syllabus. It's also listed on the login page. And I should also point out that if you have logged in, or if you haven't logged in to Ivy Learn Canvas, into this course, when you do, it will not look like the normal online courses. If you've taken other online courses, there's usually that one page with all the module links connected to it. I hate that thing with a passion. So I create my own weekly login page. And on that page, there's something funny because I just like putting funny stuff in there. There will almost always be a video like this to talk about what we're looking at this week. There'll be a paragraph or two that talks about it as well. And then the links going right into the module for this week will be at the bottom, and as well as my Zoom office hours and all the links to the recordings of the live sessions and the recordings of the quick tips when I start putting those up. You know, all that linkage will be down at the bottom of the login page, and then I will change it at the beginning of every week. So you will see it change. It's sort of a dynamic thing. I like it better. I think it's more interesting. I think it's easier to get around. One of the things I had a problem with when I was taking online classes was we get into the semester and I couldn't remember, is this week 3, week 4, week 5, and you had to know that to know the modules. You don't have to know any of that stuff because I will have that on the login page for you. You'll log in week 3 and everything you need for week 3 will be right there on the login page. So that's a nice little advantage. The other thing I wanted to mention is this is the first semester we've done this. Instead of starting the school semester on a Monday, we are starting it on a Wednesday. So the semester doesn't actually start until August 18th. I'm already getting emails from some of you. The class went live, I think it was midnight Monday morning, and I already started getting emails from students who had been into the class. So the assignments are all going to be due on Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. And you'll see that listed. Every Module 1, for example, all of the work for Module 1, the quizzes, the speech, there's a speech assignment, all the other stuff are due at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, the next module or the next week starts. So it's really weird for me because I'm used to running Monday to Sunday. Having a weekend in the middle of the week is kind of weird, at least from an academic standpoint, but that is something to remember. You have until Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. to get your work in. And that is true for all the weeks except for the very last week, and the very last week will have a different due date because we shut down the system a little bit earlier for grading purposes. So, and I'll remind you when we get down to that point. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell for the class. I look forward to your speeches. These are always really fun. This first week's speech, you will have to just pull something from the news and talk about it. That's something that's interesting to you in the news, and it could be anything that's in a news article as long as there's a news article to it, and it doesn't require an audience. So it's basically just to give you a chance to give a short 2-minute or so speech, practice the video recording part, practice the submission part, and it gives me a chance to see how you are as a speaker. So that's it. If you got any questions, shoot me an email. My email is listed in the syllabus, and that is the best way to get a hold of me. I answer emails very quickly. I check them 7 days a week, so it doesn't matter what day it is. I check my emails when I get up in the morning. I check them before I go to sleep. I check them throughout the day, and I respond very quickly. So usually you'll hear an answer back from me within a couple of hours, and that's, like I said, it's the best way to get a hold of me. So shoot me an email if you have any questions, or I will see you on the live stream on Tuesday at 10 a.m. and look forward for the semester with y'all.